I think one of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the city, they cannot tell you one.
You have a credit to the dollar never from you have a credit to Munafiki Bawumia. For what?
Oh, let us be serious. What Dr. Bawumia is saying is not.
And say Bawumia should, for once, he should be serious in this country. Maybe a winning Drew, maybe already vice president as for 8 years. No, he should know better.
If the NDC today, they come out to tell Ghana for say, we are not going to tell you any policies, but the dollar is going to come down. They should not give me any policy. All that I need as Obiam Beton engines, Obiam Kofanyama, Obiam businessman, I need the dollar to drop. For you, Bawumia, to tell me policies for 8 years, for the dollar to move from 3.8 to 17, I would rather stick with the party that will not tell me any policy, but the dollar will come down.
We say the dollar no AC eba form no. Amount for any aje, amount for so soon. And no muka say, any by June the other say, do be 50 pesos. Abusia $1 is to 50 pesos. And no, and a Ghana for no be ede aseda. Emma abenya otiso titiru. Eye finance minister ene wona eka ho ene bi nso ede aseda aye ye ne nkamfo ema eye Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia se ne hihye ye pa a odi gu akwan mu ena ene aboa ama obi baaye no onya eho abodin papa ene ho mfaso we anam so ama Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia na kasa abusua wakasa afa Cedi a appreciate ne ho na wagina so abisa NDC for ensembi na abusua Samsam no ena Kevin Ekobodi Taylor Mugabe Hopeson Adorye ene Honorable Timothy ebuja Oma fire Magraheb na what is story no ase aha eye AG gossips feel free so be share wadwen na we a obe share video yi amanu ya binsa etumi aka enkomo a chese sabre de obi a edidie na ekọ akire pa no eye Cedi ene dollar enkomo said sesei no Cedi no esi kosura dollar no eba from no na ena former vice president Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia ebusa NDC for no ensembi ebusa ensembe ni.
The appreciation of the city that we have seen recently, I think one of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the city, they cannot tell you one that has been implemented, not sort of talked about, but actually implemented. They cannot tell you one such policy. They only pass their budget in March. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact yet. For me, we had anticipated the impact of gold in this economy. I talked about it when we got into dire straits in 2022. Bank of Ghana had bought $5 billion worth of gold. After all the noise of the election, people are paying attention to our reserves. That is one thing, which we have built to 30 tons. Secondly, you've mentioned that the US dollar itself is on the decline globally. And that has also strengthened. If you go to Zambia, for example, the kwacha has gained a lot of ground also because you have the US dollar declining in value because of what is happening in the US with all of that. So I think those are, and then there's the third element is that they are not spending. I mean, if you are managing an economy, you have to pay your bills. They are not paying IPPs, for example. This is why the doomsday is so acute, and they are not paying contractors. So when you are not spending, there's less pressure on your currency. Yeah, so those are some of the reasons why you are seeing an appreciation of the currency.
Policy ben na omudi gu akwan nti a within 5 months dollar no e form a cedi no appreciate enti omo mekire no ehyehyeye ben policy ben na omudi gu akwan mu ebuza eno na Mugabe say Debbie producers muntumu no me pese metie ne kasa waka no muntumu kasa no muntumu sama waka no me pese metie ebuza ene Mugabe afaya
Kenyans assembly. What is that? What is that? You have a credit no dollar never from you have a credit ma munafiki tisa Bawumia. For what? You think that Ghanaians are fools? Nanyama koya eka nyina ne mosese maso. Akron for tips. You come and answer questions on PDS. Very soon you answer questions on Bwalugu Dam. Even say wo yebeja mo na makofiri sana. Mutiminya no kasa. In less than 5 months ya move power mutiminya no kasa. Useless ones in opposition. You continue to be there. You continue to be there forever and ever. Say go for oil. Munafiki for oil. Bawumia munafiki for oil. A true for ni akromfo. They are thieves. Or maybe our my way. My no say Kenya $190 million US. Yete ninti America formers can hurry. PDS na mokofa baye. Akromfo Bawumia you are part. When we are engineer bibia. And if we don't have those documents there, we don't have those files. Yeah, all those documents, but it is in the public domain. And Ghanaians are watching. Mawasa Professor Amir Kunfi, you are rushing into hospital. And also court. Was it yesterday? And also Kokopimo court. You are rushing into hospital. Mubenya running stomach. Munya hungry. Afena angels in the 900 million angels na fe no mupie me se munya hohwe running stomach muyamu betu mama ya sonkwa didi o se obi ya adwuma wo se ya fa credit ma ho munafiki ni sameja fe ne aya Dr. Keselato force mu ene aya Dr. Siama mu ene wo mo maka team no etumi honorable secretary mo kan ma adwene ebom isasalensi John Dramani mama ya ma me prof na na je no poko adwuma honorable Julius Dabra wo mo nna no you have a credit in the Bawumia munafiki. I don't want to use certain words because you are former vice president. I respect that seat. I respect that position. Into me, person may use certain words, but you are munafiki. Now let me go. Let me go to my nurse.
Oya vice president on person na no betia no mponiye ebusia. Mugabe wiye ya ene ehwe one corner na say Kevin Ekwadu Taylor eso so asoja no na say asoja na ederi kumo
because okay them say wobusa NDC for say amonchire policy Mahmoud Bawumia, how many policies did you present to Ghanaians from 2013 to 2024? He goes on to say that they only passed their budget in March. They have not even issued any contract and paid for anything. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. In 2016, NDC for pass budget then chair. It's dollar now and the echo from no untumin kase NDC for a bibi sunkumbia because omuntumin ka policy bakwa omutumi de gina so $1 na form. To me, if the NDC cannot tell me one policy, that's $1 na be do through a 12. The NDC should not tell me any policy. Because he told me so many policies and he moved the dollar from 3 to 17. If the NDC today, they come out to tell Ghana for say, we are not going to tell you any policies, but the dollar is going to come down. They should not give me any policy. All that I need as Obiam Beton engines, Obiam Kofanyama, Obiam businessman, I need $1 to drop. For you, Bawumia, to tell me policies for 8 years, for the dollar to move from 3.8 to 17, I would rather stick with the party that will not tell me any policy, but the dollar will come down. Actually, wait, Jimmy. Actually, this guy, he sees all of you. Oh, say, the style of politics, the JHS kind of politics, the primary school kind of politics. boy be no almost say or yet show be or skate be no boy be no doorbell no cheddar the cheddar kind of politics oh kutie don't make an be catch them na men kan Ghana for cheddar kind of politics about Bawumia. Bawumia is doing the cheddar kind of politics. Cheddar. Bellboy cheddar kind of politics. Into the piano, say koye man dia obey the day, and koye dia you be fought. Mahamudu Bawumia is playing the cheddar kind of politics. Now, what is policy? Because when the president of the republic, Berman Yansafo Kasano, he spoke about how the reason why the dollar is going down, and what didn't echo from the say it is being supported by strong forest reserve. How do you get dollars into Ghana? So President Mahama say, and the dollar I appreciate it 3.9%, and the reason is that we are getting a lot of dollar inflows. The question is, how do you get dollar into your country? Do you need a policy to get dollar into your country? So how are you going to get dollar into your country? Something needs to happen for dollar to come into your country. If you knew that this policy will work, why didn't you get dollar into the country? Mahmoud Bawumia.
Enti ejano edumuye ewo Kevin Egbalutela akachino ene se na Yensabra Mugabe eho na yehwe se ejafufro asanso so aso ebuzia yekopie mu ewo hobi mu a chese Hopeson ene wonwabu Timothy ezo so abojeni mu a ene echense omu achikusie mu bo
Finance Minister, Bank of Ghana, share never be a dollar no go for mumai. But because of political expediency, and dollar no the engine semgra. Say Obekai Akwabia was say to first pa munkwaji loan. Uja oni Muhammad change. Na dollar no go 25 cents. So me say me stress so there. Look, let us be serious. What Dr. Bawumia is saying is not. What na bemu? What's all the policy about a good for oil? Ya nyahu dividend biya. Enfaso biya maso. Because ya good for oil no. Ya antitifu eso number 1. Number 2, dollar no esra na neko. It is our policy no. Not say. But it's our policy no. Let me tell you, enya Bawumia policy. Madam Fo. Wase mi tibi boni di friend Dr. Sledge. So what in the one so delay in gold. Dr. Sledge in a call Mahmoud Bawumia hon was look. Send ye adene se kono. Me adel in gold. Wopa monfa mame. Betima to gold no. Na be dia kwa fa oil aba. So that yen change dollars wa hase. En konkoto. Na o manu intro. Sene nando wa shisha de na to no pe the second time on bishia no na fe wa brief wo mo enhihye no how wa mo be ye bit my successful papa ne tea pe the next day oh ye ba be good for oil without knowing the that is a strategy nipa no what they ba be ye sade no. I am saying this on public TV. Ebia Dr. Cedi kwehwe onim strategy o de go kwamu how I be yan ne ne kai ka ho that is a good for oil so no ekoko ya avenue for stealing for some people. Ya the gold na akọ when they determine the price middleman na possible de kwa man no hey me say na ma kwaso ogrom ha o
ala wati ba kraka mo
Mugabe, you see, say Bawumia should, for once, he should be serious in this country. Maybe a winning Drew, maybe I'll be the vice president as for 8 years. No, he should know better. Tiono Koto, Cedi appreciation. If you ask a simple question to the NDC, what to point out exactly what policy you have implemented, that has resulted in the appreciation of the Cedi, they cannot tell one.
Hey.
With it to you. They only passed the budget in March. You listen to me carefully, because Bawumia must be taken on from his home. Also, Chatra with fashion come for another throne. So they have not even issued contracts. They've not paid anyone. So you cannot ascribe what has happened to the currency. Well, I will say, you pass a budget in March. And you are also accusing us of not paying contractors. Listen to me. Listen to me. We that one of the that we are not even. I say kana yedeno. Yentia into na Cedi na stable and yes sir. Now what we say the budget in by March. So if we brought the budget in March, then obviously it is not as a result of the fact that we are not paying contractor. That is why the Cedi is stable. Because can one about two yes, you are just starting tier. And I say tier, I didn't have just much you expect. It means that there are other factors that is leading to the stability of the Cedi. And I'll talk about it. You see, gold for oil. I say gold for oil now. Before they left power in 2024, we had 30 tons of gold reserve. But as a 30 tons, the gold reserve now, the Cedi was at 16% to the dollar. It was at 16 to the 66 to the dollar. Yeah, but the only one ton at the count. Say if the stability of the Cedi and the appreciation is as a result of the tons of gold we have, then 30 tons would have reduced the Cedi to even 10.
That's right.
You get it? Because the only 1 ton count, and it shows it is the stability of the Cedi is not as a result of gold for oil and then the reserves that we have. There are other factors. Factors count. The factors are simply that, look, export of gold now a year within these few months, it brought in more dollars than even a whole year of gold. And the issue of dollars into the system is about demand and supply. If you have enough supply, then the Cedi will be stable. There are also factors here that can when you look, you buy most of the frivolous spending now almost spend on this cathedral. $58 million. Cathedral. It wasn't bringing in anything. It's just expenditure and was just like recurrent expenditure. They were not investing in capital project. And if you don't invest in capital project, the awareness will see you because locally you must put in place policy. You shouldn't just bring in door because they had over $30 billion in this country borrowing alone. Mugabe, borrowing. Look at the first borrowing. The Eurobonds alone were $13 billion. Dear Namudiye.
We any a friend say only kokoti ekwa year ye de asotro eja okwan ebi so ka ne kokromoti da bia me kan say ye kokoti o say ye kokromoti o ni nyina no asotro ene de eja okwan eti sabre de ba bia Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia e wo bia no ai wanya miss call ebusa feel free na e kire wadwen dollar ya e kofom sabre de ene number 11.90 o sha eye enhihye ye papa aban we di agu akwan mu ena e ma no e kofom sa ana se MPP aban enhihye ya omudi gu akwan mu ena aban we ba ye onya esomfa so na enti feel free now so eche wadwen na obi amode say obe share amonu e bisa etumi aka aha eye AJ gossips medin e di AJ background